All right, hey, you guys, welcome back to Taking Flight with me. My name is Mike Rocket Blackstone. Yeah, in all of the greatest things that I've been able to accomplish in my life and I'm grateful for, one of which is that I've recently been able to finally make it in my airline career to fly from Los Angeles to Sydney, Australia. And I'm a new pilot on the 777. I've been on it a couple of years now, and I've been flying it as a reserve pilot. But recently, for my birthday, I was able to travel down to Sydney as a passenger, which I'll do another video about what that travel was like on my birthday. Traveling as a passenger for an airline and getting a chance to fly on the 777 to Sydney as a passenger was a great experience, and it triggered me to want to start to fly to Sydney as a line pilot. So I put my request in for it, and recently I've been able to fly my first trip to Sydney, Australia from Los Angeles. And what an amazing experience this is and was. And for those of you who have flown airliners around domestically, I flew as a captain on the 737 for years. I flew as a co-pilot on the 737 for many more years. And then also as a co-pilot on the 75 and 767, flying domestically mostly, but some international on the wide body many years ago on the 76, but never to Australia. And I recently got the opportunity to do it, and I see why it is so amazing and why it's so senior. It's an incredible experience to take off from Los Angeles. And literally, the flight plan that I flew was about 6,668 miles across, in nautical miles, across the Pacific, flying over the Hawaiian island chain, over Molokai, and then curving down to the southwest across the equator, and along the way across there's some remote islands out there, which you'll be able to see on the chart. I'll show you a couple of those along the way. Then we cross the international date line at 180 degrees west longitude, where you switch times into another day. You actually cross the date line into tomorrow as you're backtracking in time. At some point, you end up into tomorrow. It's crazy. So that's how the trip went. I was going to show you a little bit of what the routing looked like. And you can kind of see on our map here, check this out. You can kind of see that map that takes you arcing across the Pacific Ocean in a great circle routing that takes you across the Hawaiian island chain. And we have this thing called ETOPS, which is, there's a time that you're going to be flying across the Pacific where there are places that are so remote that you need to be within 180 minutes of a place to land should you have a depressurization or an engine failure or something significant that you need to land this airplane, that you're near a place to land. So as we're flying along over the Pacific, in the middle of the night, of course, we're tracking where we are and calculating where the nearest suitable airport is to land should we have an emergency. Do we go to Hilo? Do we go to Kona? Do we go to Honolulu? If we have a problem as we're heading to the island over the Hawaiian island chain. And then as we head southwest from there, where are the next places that we could land as we leave Hawaii? Is it, if you were to lose an engine, do you turn around and go back to Hawaii? Or do you continue on to go to a place possibly called Pago Pago, NSTU, like Western Samoa, like out there in the Pacific Islands, and then there's some spots out near Nandi, which is Fijian Islands. And then as we cross over towards the Australian continent, there's an area where there's always weather. So a lot of times we'll have to come off the routing, and here we are in a non-radar environment, steering off of the route up to 75 or 80 miles. We had to do this that first night that we traveled across that area, 75 or 80 miles off route, and then back to the other side and maneuvering around some weather, and then swooping in and landing into Sydney right around, it was around 6 a.m. I believe, when we landed there, about 6:30 in the morning. So super exciting. You know, I think this is one of the greatest experiences of my career, is flying the 777 as a senior co-pilot. And for those of you that don't know, the flight from LA to Sydney is 15 and a half hours. And we have this incredible flying machine that can make it there nonstop. with plenty of fuel reserves to maneuver around weather and then go to Sydney or go to any other alternate airports within 45 minutes or so of the Sydney airport. And we have 4 crew members. So what that means is there's a captain, and then there's me, I'm the co-pilot, and then there are 2 other co-pilots, a total of 4 pilots on board, that we break up the flight time so that 2 pilots will step out after about 4 hours, and 2 more pilots will step in, take over the flying duties. They'll fly for about 4 hours, then we come back in from our break. And our break is in a bunk room, so it's got kind of a little suite there where the pilots can literally lay down in a bunk, put their shades on to make it nice and dark, put some earplugs in and sleep quietly for about 3.5 to 4 hours. And then after eating something, getting a little rest, step back into the cockpit and relieve the other crew. So then they'll step back. There's always a fresh crew in the cockpit at all times, which is makes this trip really, really pleasant. Now, I've flown shorter flights across transcons where you fly LA to New York and you're flying in the seat the whole way for about 5.5 hours. That's doable, but you get there. I get 5 hours, you're already there. When this one continues on and on for literally 3 times farther than it is to go to Hawaii, that's how far Sydney is. So when you get to Hawaii, literally you're only 1/3 of the way there. And there's plenty of things to do along the way, like position reports, HF cell call checks, which you check in with Oakland Center, which is talking back towards the mainland, talking to San Francisco area Air Inc., and then you're talking to the Fijian Islands, and then you're talking to Brisbane, and you talk to Auckland, or if you head to the south, you get a little bit of Auckland as well. So you're talking to different people at different times. And what an amazing trip. So I wanted to share that with you. If you have any questions about what it's like to fly to Sydney, and as I get more experience on this thing, I'll be happy to share that with you. But for those of you who are just getting started in the airline career, check out the wide body flying when you can, when you get enough cycles in flying Airbuses or 737s. And one day you decide, hey, I want to see what it's like to fly halfway around the world. The 777 is the place to do that, and I'm sure you'll enjoy that. Hopefully one day I'll get a chance to fly maybe with you. One day flying the 777 with me. I'm Mike Blackstone. You've been watching Taking Flight. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.